Hello and welcome back. It is Tuesday, June 21st, our first podcast in over a month. I am Austin Fisher. It's just me again. Well, no Connor this week, but I am joined by a very special guest, Wartburg football player Coen Brown. Coen Brown, how are you doing?
Austin, I can tell you what, I'm doing very great today. Very excited to be here with you.
Good. We're glad to have you on. So the first thing we're going to start talking about, obviously, is the NBA Finals that just wrapped up. What is it? 2 days? 2 days ago now. Coen, what are your got any thoughts you just want to throw out there right now?
Well, obviously, as a basketball fan, it's always good and exciting to see the top two teams battle it out and end up going to a Game 7. It's the way the finals should be year in and year out, that we hope. But the games themselves, minus Game 7, weren't the most intriguing games, I would say. Quite a few blowouts. One game that was less than a 10-point finish.
Game 4.
Besides Game 7. So all in all, it was an enjoyable series to watch. Some very good individual and team performances. Very exciting series.
So Cleveland came back down 3-1, and first team in finals history to do that. And I really liked watching those last 3 games because we got to see LeBron have maybe the best 3-game stretch in finals history, considering that they had to win every single game.
That 3-game stretch, it was absolutely unbelievable. I came across a stat the other day. In games 5 through 7, here are LeBron's stats. For those who say that LeBron doesn't have a clutch gene, yet he may not have the track record of game-winning shots, but when the season is on the line, a finals ring is on the line, down 3-1, mind you, 2 games in Oracle Arena.
That's right.
These are his stats. He averaged 36 points, just under 12 rebounds, just under 10 assists, with 3 blocks and 3 steals a game, while shooting 42% from beyond the arc.
And I think, he also led both teams the whole series.
In every stat.
Every stat. He was the first player to ever do that in a playoff series, not just the finals, but a playoff series. So he really showed just how dominant he can be. But one thing I want to get to real quick is something that you tweeted during the game, and I know it might have been a little bit in the moment, maybe a little bit of recency bias, but you said that you thought that you tweeted during, I think, the second half of Game 7 that Kyrie Irving was showing why he was the best point guard in the NBA. Do you have anything to say about that?
That is correct, what I said, what you brought up. I mean, watching Kyrie over this not the finals alone, but this postseason and how he's kind of taken control of that second tier on that team. Obviously, LeBron's the leader, the heart and soul, but Kyrie, the Cavs can't function without Kyrie playing the way he did throughout the playoffs and the finals especially. And what I thought showed out to me the most through the finals was kind of Kyrie taking that next step and becoming an elite and one of the most premier guards in the league today. You kind of saw him grow in front of our eyes. Games 1 through 7, especially that 41-point outburst, where completely took control, especially in the second half. It's very good to see. Minding this was his first actual finals, basically full series. He got hurt in Game 1 last year, so mind you, he's 24 years young and putting up those kind of numbers, and not only in the first few games, but especially down 3-1 a series.
I think a big thing was how he played defense that series, because that's always a knock on him, because I'd say he's probably like a top 5 just individual scoring player in the league, regardless of position, but his defense has always been pretty shaky. But I think defensively he showed he can do when he wants to, and obviously in the finals there's really no excuse not to give effort. So when he gives effort, he can be a pretty good defender. So I'm just going to go through excuse me, I've had a cough for the better part of a week now, so bear with. But I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to name some point guards, even though we've said that that may have been a little in the moment about what you said about Kyrie. And I just want to have your thoughts about how Kyrie stacks up to him. So first off, Steph Curry.
Now this is where it gets tough because obviously Steph Curry is arguably one of the top 2 players in this league. So I'd have to take Steph if I was drafting a point guard over Kyrie. But the way that Kyrie outplayed Steph Curry, the unanimous MVP of this NBA season in a 7-game series. So although I give the edge to Steph here, I think Kyrie is on the up and up and could eventually overtake Stephen Curry as a better overall point guard. I mean, Steph's obviously the best shooter and scorer in our league we have today, but when it comes to leading a team and being that all-around player offensively and defensively, I think Kyrie is on his way to being one of the best in the league. And
one quick stat on Steph. So there have been 18 MVPs that have won the NBA Finals, and I guess 17 since Steph didn't win it this year. And only twice now has the MVP not won Finals MVP. In 1980, Kareem was regular season MVP, but he got hurt in the finals, and Magic Johnson won Finals MVP. But that's when he started at center and had 40 points, almost a triple-double, I think. And then last year, when Andre Iguodala won instead of Steph Curry, excuse me. And then this year, obviously, we all saw how much Steph struggled, which I think maybe just them going for 73 wins just kind of wore him down, playing almost playoff basketball for 82 games and then a whole postseason. But let's move on to another point guard. How about Russ Westbrook?
Russ Westbrook, in my opinion, not being caught up in the heat of Game 7 of an NBA Finals, I truly believe Russell Westbrook is indeed the best point guard that the NBA has at the moment. Not just the skill involved, but the effort that he puts in night in and night out. He shows up on the offensive end and defensive end, ready to attack, he just got that tenacious ability and mindset to him night in and night out.
I think he's probably the best combination of athleticism and tenacity, like you said, because he's the most athletic player. Probably, I would say he's probably more athletic than LeBron now, even though LeBron can do some crazy things, and he also brings it every night, probably more than any other player.
With Russell as well, if that man can develop a consistent jump shot outside of the free throw lane, and if he could develop a 3-point shot, that man would be absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, I think he was 30% this year. I think he was third worst behind Kobe and LeBron. One more. We'll just say one more point guard. How about Chris Paul?
Now, Chris Paul, established veteran in the NBA, multiple time All-Star, very very great, good point guard. But I would definitely take Kyrie over Chris Paul. Just not only his youth, but I think his abilities as a basketball player, again, offensively and defensively, are just a step above where Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul is
on the back nine, maybe.
He's declined a little, not like a steady decline, but he's tapered off a little bit. He proved that he can't really come playoff time. He hasn't showed us he can yet.
Never even made a conference finals.
I mean, the Clippers have had some pretty good teams over the past 4 or 5 years, I'd say, and to not make the Western Conference, I know it's tough in the Western Conference, but for some of the teams and roster they put together, for them not to make it with Chris Paul, I'd have to give Kyrie the edge on this one.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk a little about Game 7 now. I think it was probably I think that Game 6 in 2013 when Ray Allen hit that shot.
Oh, yep.
I think that was
Chris Bosh rebound.
I think this and that were probably the two best finals games of the last probably 7 years, maybe. And I think LeBron's performance in, well, like we said, the last 3 games, but then he ended up having a triple-double in Game 7 to win. I thought that was pretty special what he did.
Well, you could tell what I could notice watching the game, it almost seemed as if LeBron was kind of, saving himself, saving his body for the fourth quarter push, because after the first 2 or 3 quarters, you could kind of tell that this is going to be a very tight game and coming down to the last couple minutes, and it just seemed LeBron wasn't pressing at all. He wasn't trying to attack and force things as much as he had at the beginning of the game. So you can kind of tell that he was prepping for a pretty incredible fourth quarter run.
I think his body was probably feeling pretty good because he had people on Twitter have been calling it the block. Where
don't even get that
Andre
was
Iguodala.
that saved the season, that saved the year, that
it was
saved the game.
89, yeah.
It would have been a 2-point game with a minute and a half, with Oracle Arena going absolutely nuts. Next possession, Kyrie comes down, hits the shot. If we're calling it the block, you got to call that the shot.
Yeah,
and it's history since then.
He was at half court when Steph Curry was throwing a bounce past Iguodala, and although he did, I think it might have been J.R. Smith went up to contest, and that made Iguodala kind of do like a double clutch, and I think that allowed LeBron to get there. But still, that was maybe the best display of athleticism.
It went off. He pinned it off the top of the square behind the rim.
He had to dodge the rim with his head.
It was just, I mean, we've been seeing it for 13 years now, and it looks like his 18, 19-year-old self sprinting down the court, making those types of plays. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah. Now, I did. Excuse me. I did want to talk about a little, just kind of how the Warriors. I think it's fair to say that the Warriors choked in the last 3 games, especially having 2 at home, where they were 39-2 in the regular season, and I think up to that they were 11-2 in the postseason. I just think that they probably choked those last 3 games. Would you agree?
I would agree with you. I feel like they got a little too content and comfortable with the way they were playing, the way the series is going. Even after winning the first 2 games, up 2-0, Klay Thompson post game was talking about how they were better than the Showtime Lakers. I mean, are the Showtime Lakers playing the finals this year? No, they were playing the Cavs. So that comment was almost unnecessary at the time.
Yeah.
And then they get up 3-1. I think they had the mindset that, if we lose a game or 2 here, it's all right. We still got a couple game cushion here, and even if it goes to a Game 7, we'll be at home in front of the craziest crowd in the league. I'll be going nuts that game, and I think they just got too comfortable with their.
And I think they played the whole season. They played really. Excuse me. They played really loose and free flowing and kind of nonchalant. But I don't think Game 7 of the NBA Finals is the time to be playing free. Well, not really free flowing, but nonchalant, because there was that pass where Steph Curry threw the left hand behind the back pass out of bounds.
There was a couple minutes left. It was a tie game at the time.
That's fine to throw in December, January, February, but in a tie game of Game 7 of the NBA Finals, you can't be making those passes. But excuse me, but to me it seemed like he threw that, or they were playing so nonchalant to kind of, that's like how they're coping with the pressure, because I think especially the last 5 minutes they scored maybe 3 points, and I think their sphincters tightened. You think their sphincters tightened? they're like, oh God. I mean, you could see, because they went 0 for 5 from 3, I think, in the last 2 minutes, and I just felt that's how they felt they had to score, because that's how they relied so much. And I just think they got really nervous and started playing tight, and then the Cavs had 2 players step up big, like we said.
Not only that pass behind the back by Steph Curry with a few minutes left, but the last few minutes of the game, watching Steph, I was just a little bit confused as to the decisions he was making. You go back to the block. They had a 2-on-1 fast break. I know the smart plays to pass it up.
Yeah.
But if you're the unanimous MVP and you are quote unquote the best player in the NBA, why a tie game, Game 7 of the NBA Finals, a minute and a half to go? Why are you not attacking the rim? At least drawing contact or Steph Curry,
Yeah.
one of the best finishers in the league we have. I feel like he can make something happen at the basket.
Well, and then there's that also that play when Kevin Love got switched on him, and Kevin Love always gets just ripped on being a poor defender in general, but especially excuse me, on the perimeter. I mean, Steph couldn't even get by him, so I think that's kind of, I don't want to say he was injured, but I think he was just really worn down. And also, I think the intensity that Cleveland shown, I think Golden State just didn't really match it.
I think Game 7, I think Cleveland wanted more.
Yeah, you saw they were getting to more loose balls and stuff.
Yeah, they were. And back to your comment on Kevin Love's defense, hats off to Kevin Love. Just that whole sequence, Steph Curry was going between the legs, behind the back,
and he stayed in front of him.
Stone cold Kevin Love would not move.
Stone cold Kevin Love.
Back to that point as well. I don't know if you noticed it, Austin, but I definitely noticed it. One of your favorite players, our buddy Tristan Thompson. For the Cavaliers. Fish feels he's a bit overpaid, but if you watch in the second half, Tristan Thompson was getting switched and he was shutting down Steph Curry could not get open or even get a shot off on Tristan Thompson, which I think was a big key. A big key also for this game, I think, was the way the Cavs were defending not only Steph Curry but the Warriors with their switches. It was really taking the Warriors out of their offensive momentum and just getting them all out of sorts.
Well, I think the Thunder kind of showed like a game plan how to defend the Warriors with just a bunch of length. Because you said Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson's a great athlete and he's also long. Like the Thunder had like Serge Ibaka, Kevin Durant, so really good athletes who are long, so they can move on the perimeter. And I think Cleveland saw that, used that, and it ended up working out for them. And they ended up winning the championship. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little NBA draft and also a little NBA free agency. So keep it here with the Fishing Grade Pod. Welcome back to the Fishing Grade Pod. I'm Austin Fisher, and Coen Brown is still with me. We were going to be talking about the NBA draft and NBA free agency, but during the break, we thought we would talk a little bit about LeBron James and where he stands stacking up against the all-time greats, and particularly Michael Jordan after his final performance. So, Coen, where do you think he kind of stands now?
He's up there. Obviously, he's up there with the greatest of all time. But I think personally, he's up there. It's him and Michael 1-2. Any which way you want to go. It's kind of hard to compare these two. I know. What people need to realize is that LeBron James is not Michael Jordan. He's not going to be Michael Jordan that we want, that people grew up watching. They're two completely different players, different styles of play, different positions, different bodies,
different personalities. I think.
Yep, different personalities, and it's just hard to. And different. The game was a lot different back in the '90s when Michael was in his prime. But there's no denying that LeBron is up there arguably with Michael Jordan as the greatest basketball player we've ever seen.
And well, I think for me, and I know a lot of people say. Excuse me. A lot of people say like it's all about the rings. Michael Jordan was obviously 6 for 6 with 6 Finals MVPs, and LeBron's at 3 now. And I kind of agree that rings are important. So maybe if he gets 1 or 2 more, I would say that even. Thank you, Beth. I just got some water. Thank you. I would say if he gets 1 or 2 more, I mean, I I would be okay with people saying that he is better than Michael Jordan, because I think this one really the way he played the last 3 games, I think he jumped a lot of all-time greats, even just with those last 3 games and winning. But an interesting take that I heard from Mitch, who might be joining the pod later, he said that Michael Jordan was the best winner of all time, but LeBron James is the best overall well-rounded basketball player. And I agreed with that.
I do agree with that. And think about this. When you're comparing Michael Jordan and LeBron James, think about the legacy that LeBron has had. Okay, let's start off at St. Vincent St. Mary's. He's 17 years old. On the cover of Sports Illustrated with the caption, "The Chosen One." I didn't see that when Michael Jordan was a junior in high school. Yeah,
I think LeBron's had the most pressure, especially being a hometown. He grew up in Akron, so being kind of a hometown kid, I think he's had a ton of pressure.
Oh, obviously, and he goes to Cleveland. He takes a ragtag team to the finals, doesn't win
in his 4th season.
And then he goes to Miami, and the decision, he gets completely scrutinized, and that's when I think LeBron, the critics and the haters, started to come into play. Because he goes in there promising not 5, not 6, we've all heard it, we've all been there, and then he goes 2-2 in the finals with the Heat, and then he returns to Cleveland, and then takes him to the finals last year, where it's basically
him against.
That's almost another
Warriors.
ragtag team after Kyrie and Kevin Love were inactive for the finals. And so LeBron has had to, throughout his career, deal with a bunch of scrutinizing and pressure that Michael Jordan never really had. Because Michael Jordan had the supporting cast. He had the great teams. And although LeBron has had some great teams that he's been a part of, he's had to live up to a certain bar that we as basketball fans and people have set for him. And personally, to him, he'll never reach that bar.
Yeah.
And to a lot of people, he never will. But to me, he's up there with Michael as one of the greatest, if not the best.
I think one, I'll give a knock that people can give on both, even though they're kind of ones for how Michael Jordan's team played. I think he got swept in the first round, and I don't even know how many series he won before Scottie Pippen joined him. Although every championship team needs more than one great player, as we've seen the last, forever. And so that's kind of a knock that people could say on Michael Jordan. Excuse me. But I think one thing that LeBron gets knocked for a lot, like you said, was the decision. And I'm not a LeBron fan, but I respect him a lot more now, and I think we all have to appreciate his greatness. But I think the decision, he had a 30-minute TV show to announce where he was going to be playing, and it lasted like 3 minutes. And then even like when he returned to Cleveland, he wrote that Sports Illustrated letter. I don't know. I just think he is the biggest. He is the face of the NBA. I just think the way he carries himself at times can put a little people off.
Yeah, but, I agree with you. I could see why people dislike LeBron, the person LeBron, but I think it's time that people need to start respecting and appreciating LeBron, the basketball player. I mean, in our generation, excluding Kobe Bryant, we hadn't seen a basketball player of LeBron's magnitude at all. And so people need to stop just hammering him for what he's done in his past. I mean, LeBron the person, you might dislike him, but LeBron the basketball player, you better start respecting him.
He's had this was his 13th year, and he's been in his prime. If we kind of say he got in his prime his second season, I think it was fair to say averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists in his second season. So he's at a 12-year prime now. I think Michael Jordan only played 13 seasons, even though he retired a couple times. Larry Bird only played 13 seasons. So he's been in his prime the same length that some of the all-time greats that people say played their entire career. So, I mean, just looking at it that way, you got to appreciate what he's done.
Yeah, just the level of play and the consistency year in, you know what you're going to get from LeBron year in and year out. Even though it's 13 years now, he's still consistently putting up the numbers he put up in years 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. If we go compare them side by side, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, through their age 31 seasons, even though LeBron played like 3 or 4 more years because he came out of high school, they both had 3 championships. But LeBron has 4 MVPs to Jordan's 3 MVPs, and obviously Michael Jordan then had a great career into his 30s. But I mean, if we're just looking at their same age, you could even say LeBron might be a little ahead of Michael at this point in their career. So obviously LeBron's got 5 years probably left.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Yeah. LeBron is still going strong. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep up with Jordan's pace and keep up his own pace that he set for himself through his first 13 years, and see what he can do to finish off his career.
Yeah, and we'll talk. He is a free agent, and we'll speculate a little on that, see where his next move is. But I would say right now, I think LeBron James is the second greatest basketball player of all time, and I think, Coen, you probably agree, or maybe even say it's 1A and 1B with Michael Jordan.
Just the debate can go on. It will go on for years and years, and no one will ever.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be able to have a real good, not definitive answer, but a good idea until LeBron James actually retires.
Yeah, which could be in 5 years, could be in 10 years. I mean, you never know with this man.
Yeah, the way he keeps himself in shape is.
Yeah, think about LeBron James has never had a serious injury. He's never had to miss a bulk of a season at all.
I don't think he's ever missed a playoff game. He takes really good care of his body. He has. I heard he has like 2 personal trainers. He has a full gym at his house.
Well, he just signed a $500 million lifetime contract with Nike, so he better be having some trainers with him if he wants to continue to play the way he's been playing for the past few years.
Yeah. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we actually will be talking NBA draft and NBA free agency, and hopefully Mitch Lorenz will be joining us for that. So
let's hope so.
Keep it here with the Fish and Grade Pod.
All right, here we go, third take.
And welcome back to the Fish and Grade Pod. I'm Austin Fisher. Coen Brown is still with me. And Mitch Lorenz has just joined us in studio. Mitch, how you doing?
Doing all right. U.S. getting battered, so I'm not doing too well.
It's currently 2-0 as they're kicking off the second half.
Right.
So if we have any comments on that, it's because we're got the game on next to us.
Mitch, it's real nice to see you here, man.
Yeah, it was all right. Had Popeyes before I came, so I'm buzzing about that. But
he's buzzing, everyone. He's buzzing.
Okay, so for this section, we're going to talk NBA draft, which is on Thursday, and then a little bit of NBA free agency, even though that's a ways away. So first thing, news broke today that the 76ers said they're going to take Ben Simmons. You guys have any thoughts on that?
Pretty standard, I guess.
I mean, he's arguably the best talent prospect in this draft. So, I mean, this is what everyone was expecting to hear.
Yeah. Top prospect. And that's kind of been what their process or whatever they said. They've taken the best available people, even though it's been centers the last 4 years or whatever. So Ben Simmons will probably go one. We'll probably just talk through like the first 6, 7, 8 picks and then move on to free agency is probably how we'll do it. So then the Lakers have number 2. They've said they're going to take Brandon Ingram.
Fish, how do you feel about that, being an LA Laker fan?
I like it. I think especially with Luke Walton coming over, he said he wants to play more freestyle, free flowing, more shooting. Ingram's probably one of the top 3 shooters in the draft. Although he's really thin right now. I mean, Kevin Durant was thin, but Kevin Durant was a better athlete. But I think he's probably the second best player in the draft, so I think they probably have to take him if he's there. Well, he will be there.
Yeah, I definitely see the comparisons, not only in physically to Kevin Durant with Brandon Ingram, but his style of play, his ability. How's that ice treating you, man?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that'd be so loud on the
No.
mic.
But Brandon Ingram's ability to stress the defense out and to shoot beyond the 3-point arc, definitely in comparison with Kevin Durant's ability as
Streaky,
well.
though.
He's
Streaky.
young. He's young.
Streaky shooter.
He's the youngest player in the draft. I think he barely turned 18 like a couple months ago, maybe. Maybe
18
turned
or 19, yeah. I was going to say, because then he'd be in the same age as us. Or no, he'd be even less.
He's younger. He's 18.
Okay, yeah.
Wow,
September 2nd, 1997.
that's shocking.
Yeah. So he won't turn 19 until a month and a half before the season starts.
Yep.
And then third pick is the Celtics. Mitch, you're a Celtics fan.
Yep.
So what are you thinking is going to happen? What are you hoping is going to happen?
Okay, well, so just bear with me on this one.
We'll bear with.
So you guys might not like it, but I think third pick, Buddy Hield.
Wow, that's a terrible.
Why? So let me explain myself. So they get Brooklyn's pick, and Brooklyn is going to be shocking all year
Yeah,
next year.
I think.
So next year they could easily get us. All they have to do is get someone who can contribute right away. Don't draft a project this year.
Mm-hmm.
And next year.
I think
There you go.
I heard today that the people were saying, GMs were saying the 2017 Brooklyn pick is like the top trade piece in the
Yes.
draft, because that's going to be another guaranteed
Yeah.
top 1, 2, 3 pick.
Did I see correctly that Buddy Hield at his Celtics workout made 85 out of 100 3-pointers?
Yeah, probably.
That's true. Jamal Murray made 79 at his Celtics workout, and Buddy
That's
made 85.
I can't wait to speak about
I
this
just-
man coming up.
I just think with
That's a solid pick.
well, I mean, yeah, I think it's not a bad pick.
Well, he's going to contribute straight away.
But if we're okay, then why wouldn't you take? I'm not disagreeing that it wouldn't work out, but what about Jamal Murray? Doesn't he have a higher ceiling?
Yeah, but
Better ball handler?
Yeah. I don't know. I think Buddy Hield. I don't know.
I think
You don't have to work on
Buddy Hield will peak at like a
Chris
like
Middleton.
or like a CJ McCollum, a definite second.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but what if you get Jamal Murray, who can be a primary ball handler
Isaiah
and a
though.
scorer?
It seems like the Celtics want to ride with Isaiah, and that's
Yeah.
not. That's why they may not pick Chris Dunn. So I don't know.
Do you guys see a potential Jimmer Fredette fallout with Buddy Hield? Do you think he could get that low? Because in college, they're basically basically the same player. I mean, he was playing in the Mountain West Conference while Buddy's playing in one of the best conferences
Yeah,
in the nation.
I don't
Big
think. I
12.
think Buddy's a lot better athlete.
I don't think he'll fall past. There's no way he falls past 8 at the Kings. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I thought, were you talking how far he falls in the draft, or
I'm
how-
talking
how
how-
he turns out?
Like, turns out.
How he
No,
turns out in the
I think he's a
NBA.
pretty. I think he'll be a solid player just because he's a better athlete than Jimmer.
So you don't
Or-
like Buddy?
Well, I don't think they'll take him.
Okay.
I'd
I'd like to see
Buddy.
the pick turn into Jaleel Okafor.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think
But
I said I think they might also trade, like it'd have to be like Avery Bradley in the third pick, or
They
Jay
could.
Crowder in the third pick.
they could keep the third pick and then get Jaleel Okafor's mate, trade Smart 16 and 23 for Nerlens Noel.
Orange Noel.
But I don't know. I'm not very high on
I'm not
Nerlens
sure if
Noel.
he's worth all that.
But 16 and 23, there's no one really that.
And he's not really a post scorer.
Right.
The Celtics don't really have anyone to score.
But they need a rim protector.
And And it works for the Sixers because then they could take like Jamal Murray. Because right now they really have no ball handlers on their team, besides probably Ben Simmons. Okay, so then the Suns are at 4. Marquise Chris from Washington.
Yeah.
Who like a month ago was in the, I want to say he was around 25 or 30 in mock drafts and big boards, and now he's shot up.
Well, he's so skilled, but there's big questions about his
attitude and stuff.
Added rebounding motor and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, because he's like 6'10", really good athlete, can shoot it, but they've questioned his attitude.
I heard NBA comp was more athletic, Markieff Morris, which isn't. I guess that's not bad.
That's not terrible.
This also has the possibility of a Noah Vonleh, is what I seen in this specific individual. 1 year,
Yeah.
one and done. He comes in as one of the top athletes in the draft, but I don't think he's gonna be a contributor right away.
Yeah, he might be more of a project.
He is a project.
Because he's rough right now. Yeah.
That's why Buddy Hield for Celtics. He's not a project.
Jamal Murray's polished. He played on the Canadian national team in high school.
All right, fine. My bad. My fault.
Well, no, it's up to whatever you think.
Okay.
I'm just strongly disagreeing right there.
I know you are. But you know more than I do.
No. So then it's the Timberwolves at 5. Mitch, did you say you thought Chris Dunn?
Well, if the Celtics don't pick him, then they should pick Dunn, and then that would mean that Ricky Rubio would have to be gone.
Yeah.
And that'd be a sweet team.
Well,
Dunn and Wiggins and
my only gripe with that would be there'd be absolutely zero shooting.
Yeah, right.
So that's why I think that if Boston doesn't take Buddy, you could see the Timberwolves maybe taking him.
Right.
Or if Boston takes I think the Timberwolves are going to take either Buddy or Jamal Murray, because I think the Suns aren't going to take one of those two.
No, Minnesota needs shooting.
Yeah.
Wiggins should be in the gym from 8 to 8 every day, just shooting threes all day long, 12 hours a day. How many threes can you put up in 12 hours?
I think that would wreck your shot, but whatever. Coen.
Just hot take.
Agree.
I would agree. I mean, if somehow Jamal Murray slips down, if he doesn't get taken by Phoenix or Boston, I think he'd be a great fit for Minnesota. Another primary ball handler that can stroke it from beyond the arc, which is what they're looking for.
Yeah.
You like Chris Dunn?
I do like Chris Dunn, but I'm big on Jamal Murray. I think he's the best guard in this draft class, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the highest ceiling as well.
Yeah. So then we'll go 6, 7, 8. So we'll go 3 more picks. Then there's the Pelicans. I think they might just take Dunn because they'll probably see him as like the best available.
So you think Dunn's gonna make it all the way to 6?
Well, I think the Suns.
Suns aren't gonna take him.
I could see the Celtics taking him. The Suns could just because take the best available. Then they'd have 3 point guards.
But then they'd have Bledsoe, Knight, three ball dominating point guards.
I could see Phoenix, just having a little fun with this year and taking Jamal Murray and just make it a Kentucky team.
They do have Archie Goodwin.
They have all the guards.
Archie Goodwin, Brandon Knight, Devin Booker, and Bledsoe. They have all Kentucky backcourt.
They can make
I think
it
they're
starting
high on
5
Devin Booker, though.
Kentucky players.
Yeah, they are.
So, I don't know. So they're realistic.
Well, so when you said you think Dunn will fall to 6, where do you think he's going to go then?
Well, I think if the Celtics don't take him, I think Minnesota. But
it's not a very good fit.
But that's not a good fit.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. 6,
I think the Pelicans could have a really good. That'd be a really good 1-2 with Dunn and Anthony Davis.
Well, there's something to me that is just telling me. Like I heard on the radio today, there's just something about like the possibility of Dunn and Simmons both somehow making it to Philly because of the Noel trade or Okafor trade. That
I
So
think
that's where Dunn
Philly
could
wants to
end up,
get
but-
a guard, so either Dunn or Murray,
Yeah.
a ball handler, not a guard.
Yeah. But Jaylen Brown too at 6 is not bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say him at 7
Yeah.
to Denver. I don't know. They drafted Moutier last year,
Right.
even though there aren't really any ball handlers then on the board. Maybe the Dragon makes an
Dragon?
appearance.
What do you think of? So you and I were talking about this the other day. I've seen Dragon highlights, and I've never seen the lad play a game.
Yeah, I've seen highlights
Never seen him
I've
play
seen
game.
highlights of 2 of his games, and I don't see what just this love for 7'1" scrawny white European guys
Yeah.
who can shoot the 3, because it worked with Dirk, and
Yeah.
right now it's working with Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah. There's
And
so
other-
many fallouts.
And other than that, I mean, it's bust after bust after bust.
Bargnani.
RJ
The list goes
Bargnani,
on.
yeah, he was number 1 pick in like 06, and now he's a laughing stock.
Yeah, I'm not too high on these international players as well. I mean, they just don't really pan out as projected. I mean, every year there's always 1 or 2 projected top 10 or lottery picks, and not too many pan out.
Yeah. So then it is down to
Sacramento at 8.
Sacramento at 8. Yeah, Coen, do you think who are you looking at for them to take?
And I'm seeing some rumors of Domantas Sabonis, the big guy from Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Sacramento going him. Although he'd be a good compliment to Boogie Cousins down low,
yeah.
which is kind of what they need. Another bruiser, be a 2-headed monster down low in the post.
Because I could see. I think Denver and Sacramento, they'll take. I think that's where Dragon and Jaylen Brown will go, one of the two. Because I think then Sacramento could probably move away from Rudy Gay. Maybe try to move him in a trade and pick up another young player.
Mm-hmm.
Then if they have Dragon, that kind of gives them a stretch 4, because they got Willie Cauley-Stein, who brings nothing on offense.
Yeah.
And so then they can actually get either if they start Dragon or what, they'll have some shooting out of their post, because Boogie was shooting. He shot 100-some threes this year.
Well, for Sacramento, a decent fit, but the guy that I'm about to say, he dropped so far from 4 is Henry Ellenson. I mean, he wouldn't be a bad fit in Sacramento.
He's a good stretch.
But he has dropped. His stock has dropped so much from the beginning of the NCAA basketball season. Like he was in Chad Ford's drafts at 4.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Even after the season ended, because he had a really good. Now he's down to on Chad Ford's big board. He's all the way down at 11.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, he was looking like a lock for a top 5, and then he just never really showed out. I mean, he had his games, but he didn't show out against Iowa, if I remember right. I don't think he played well.
I think that was his worst game.
Yeah.
It was also like his 3rd career game.
Right.
But I think that was the worst game of his career. Let's just do 9 and 10 just to round out the top 10. So then it's number 9's Toronto. I think this is where you might see him take what's his name, DeJounte Murray or whatever from Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So I think DeRozan has a real possibility of leaving.
Yep.
And even though DeJounte Murray will probably end up being a point guard, I think him and Lowry could be able to play together, and at least then you have 2 pretty good guards on the court. And he's got good size, and I mean he projects pretty well, but he's really raw right now.
Do you think Toronto's just saying prayers every night that Buddy drops all the way to them?
I don't think that's possible.
It's not possible, but I don't know. He wouldn't be a bad replacement for DeMar if he leaves. But you could also see, like, who knows? Like, once you get out of that, like, 8 range, it's really like anybody.
It's a crapshoot then.
Skal Labissiere is in there. Jacob Poeltl from Utah is in there.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't give our good friend Ben's
Bismack.
favorite player, Bismack Biyombo, an extension after his outburst in the playoffs. They're gonna need someone to back up Valanciunas, especially if he leaves. So I could definitely see a Jakob Pertl Scalabus here.
Yeah, however you say his name. I don't know how to say his name.
I believe it's Jakob.
Yeah.
Jakob, it's Jakob.
I think it's
Okay,
Jakob.
sorry.
I think he's
It's
a Russian
more of a
man.
J, like a Yog.
See,
Seven
I like
jogs.
I love soccer, so I really should know how to pronounce names like that.
Yeah, but it's okay, Mitch.
It's my fault.
Yeah, I mean,
You should cut it out and just edit it out. But
no, we'll keep it all. All right, so then to finish off, number 10, Milwaukee Bucks. I heard today they're looking to take a big man, just like Podol or Sabonis, maybe Scal, and then they're actually looking at maybe moving Greg Monroe.
Greg Monroe trade rumors. What do you think about that? He's getting paid $17 million next year, right? 17. It's almost 18.
Yeah. I
That's
don't know.
a lot for Greg Monroe.
I mean, he's what, 16 and 10, 17 and 10.
Yeah.
No defense.
They're gonna need to make some sort of move because they have some talent, but I just don't see them going anywhere with the team they have right
Right.
now.
Exactly.
They need a shooter of some kind.
They need
Yeah,
a
Chris
shooter
Middleton
so
and
bad.
like Jared Bayless.
They thought by getting Rashad Vaughn, they'd paying out for him, but he had minimal impact as a rookie last year.
They need Jason Kidd to go out and shoot.
He just signed him a contract, extended his contract.
He's like third all time in
Yeah,
mid
exactly.
threes. Yeah. So then, so let's move to free agency. We'll talk about this for like 6 or 7 minutes. I just want to maybe touch on some big ones. So like the first one, let's talk about is Kevin Durant, because there actually has been some speculation that he could leave. What do you guys think? Think he's gonna leave, stay?
I honestly think he's gonna sign that 1 year.
Yeah.
That 1 year deal, if he wants to cash in on money.
Yeah, because that makes the most sense.
When you think about it, they had the Warriors down. They had them down 3-1 in the playoffs this year. They had a trip to the finals in the cusp of their hands, and they just gave it away. So I mean, I think he's gonna give it 1 more year through Russ and see how that.
And then
plays
Russ
out.
will be a free agent also. So if they wanted to stay together, they could leave.
Mm-hmm. Because
and
OKC's
still
still
be
gonna
together.
OKC's gonna have the same team next year. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to
Mitch?
say the least.
Well, I don't think he can find a better situation anywhere else, at least on the court. I mean, Golden State, sure, but
I think they'd run into trouble at Golden
Exactly,
State.
yeah.
You'd have too many big time guys there.
Oh, if Durant went to Golden State.
yeah, and it just seems like for me, like LeBron. You know, with LeBron, he puts a lot of the onus on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Like if Durant leaves to Golden State, it almost seems like he is saying, "Someone else win a title for me." When
Yeah.
he could have upped his play, and they would have been in the finals.
Yeah.
They should have been in the finals playing against Cleveland. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't see the fit. I just don't see the fit in Golden State.
Golden State, yeah, and I think Golden State would have to give up a lot of why they're good. They had such a deep bench, and they wouldn't be able to. Even though I don't know if they'll even bring back Festus Ezeli or Harrison Barnes, but like they'd have to. Then they might have to get rid of like Sean Livingston, and a lot of their just length just to get one player
They need
who's a ball
Livingston.
dominant player.
What a choke job by Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, he lost a ton of money. I said on our pod a month ago that I thought he was gonna be the most overpaid player, and then he goes like 5 for 30 in the last 3 games. So
Someone's still gonna pay him, but
I think he probably lost.
yeah, he's still.
I think he probably
money,
lost
but
20 million, like $5 million a year over 4 years is probably what he lost in the finals.
he showed his true colors.
Yeah, and then we'll touch on Bismack and then DeMar, and then we'll wrap. Well, I guess then we can speculate on LeBron also, and then we'll wrap
we gotta
it
do
up.
LeBron speculation.
So
Always got to talk about it.
So Biz. Oh, and Whiteside. We have to get
Oh.
Whiteside.
You better call this out.
What?
You better call all this out.
Well, not when you do that. Okay, so Biz, good playoffs.
He's
good
just
rebounder.
not much of an offensive threat. And I think that's what Toronto is going to need. They're going to need another big man to back up Valanciunas and contribute offensively, let alone rebounding.
Yeah.
which is what they might be looking for in the draft by taking a Scalise
Yeah,
Labissiere
a
type
big man.
player or Jakob
Yeah.
Poeltl.
Because I think Biz is going to be looking for probably a contract that's bigger than what he's worth, and I don't know if Toronto wants to pay.
Especially if they're
for a
trying to keep
rebounder.
DeRozan. If
Yeah.
they want to keep him, they're going to have to
Yeah.
let someone go.
And DeRozan said he wants to go to LA, but I don't know if the Lakers get Ingram if they'll go for DeRozan, or even with Luke Walton, because they might bring back Jordan Clarkson. So I think DeRozan might stay in Toronto, and he said he wanted to stay in Toronto.
Why wouldn't you? You're best friends with Drake.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, with Bismack, I think he's certainly not a starter. So I don't know how, like what you can't start him. Like who?
Yeah,
What?
because he hasn't.
I don't know. You look around the league. What? You're not gonna start. You're certainly not gonna start him over Valanciunas.
Yeah,
I mean, in
and
Toronto,
you can't put him at the 4 because he.
You can't. You can't start him
he'd
because
be a
his value is the bench is coming off the bench.
yeah.
Like he does, his value kind of goes down when he starts because his value is in the impact that he makes
Off the bench.
in short spurts.
Yeah,
Kind of like, I don't know. It's basically like the opposite of Mo Spates.
yeah.
Defense and
No-
rebounding and no.
And,
Yeah, that was a terrible comparison.
well,
That man puts
No.
up the most shots per minute in NBA history.
yeah. All right, and so then we'll get to Whiteside, Hassan Whiteside. I think he'll either go to the Lakers or the Heat, is what I think he'll do. Because I think the
Yeah.
Lakers are going to go at him to try to get a big man to build around.
They're definitely not going anywhere with Roy Hibbert
No.
anchoring down the paint for the
I
Lakers.
think he opted out of his contract.
He
What
needs
is-
to just
the-
he needs to go overseas and get out of the
Yeah.
league.
What is he, the master of verticality?
Yeah. But Hassan Whiteside is the best shot blocker since like Dikembe Mutombo or Hakeem or something.
You got to keep the master of verticality.
I think the Heat are going to try and keep him happy.
Yeah, I think
'Cause if the Heat want any chance of competing in the Eastern Conference for a trip to the finals,
Yeah.
they're going to have to keep him.
Uh-huh.
He's too
'Cause
big of a player.
When he's on, he's like a top 3 center. So
Yeah, he's good. He just I
Yeah.
don't know.
And
There's
then-
so much money.
then let's finish with a little LeBron speculation. So he's won his title.
Mm-hmm.
He's delivered his promise to Cleveland. Now, I mean, can people get upset if he wants to leave?
I think.
What if he wants to go play with Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, and Wade? What if they go to like Los Angeles or Miami,
That'd
something
be
like
sweet.
that?
I don't know.
But I think it'd be more likely that that those players go to Cleveland. So I think LeBron's gonna do the 1-year deal, like Durant will probably do, stay with Cleveland, and then just get some huge $40 million a year deal after that.
What do you think's gonna happen with K Love? Do you think he
I don't think
says
they
he
can-
wants
I
to
don't-
stay?
I don't think they can keep him.
I don't think so either. But
Just
I don't know.
just at how he performed in the finals, and really he didn't play good the entire playoffs. They made him a corner 3-point shooter, so I don't think they'll keep him.
He doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, and he's lost so much weight. He's not really a good rebounder either.
I heard on the radio there's a perfect point. They said like against like 24 teams he's good, but against like the top 8 teams
Yeah.
he doesn't add any. Well, I
Yeah.
guess top 7 because of that. So he doesn't
Yeah.
have any value against. I don't know.
The teams that they're actually going to be competing
Yeah.
and trying to beat. Yeah.
I believe that LeBron's just going to stay in Cleveland, ride it. I mean, he came there on a mission, one purpose. He got it. If he wants to leave, let him leave. I don't think he can stay mad. Obviously, people in Cleveland are gonna turn on him again, more than likely. But you can't be mad at him for what he's done for the city.
Yeah.
And if he wants to leave, he's got. LeBron knows what he wants, and he's gonna do what he wants. And
Yeah.
right now, anything else that he does in Cleveland is, I don't like to say this term, but it's going to be a cherry on top. I mean,
Yeah.
he won his ring there. He got his third ring, put himself up there, as we discussed earlier, in the top of the ranks of the all-time greats. So anything else he does in the rest of his career is just going to be some cherries on top of an already historic career.
I
That's
don't
well
think he's
put.
leaving.
No, I think he'll sign a 1-year deal, then probably stay. That's a good thing to end on, Coen. So, Mitch, thanks for joining for this segment.
Yeah, I did
Coen, thanks for being on for the entire pod.
Oh, I hope I get invited back. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed it here.
You probably will at some point. Maybe we'll get them going more weekly now. Who knows? It has been a month. We'll try to get the pods a little more frequently than that. So thanks for listening. If you listened all the way through, this has been the Fishing Grade Pod.